Oh, how goes the battle, everybody? We're out here on the ice. It's the end of January, but it sure feels like March, which is very awkward here in the Twin Cities. Something none of us have seen before. We're seeing a lot warmer than average temperatures. You know what? There is some ice. You can still chase them down. We're looking at 10 to 12 inches of ice out here. You can see there's even some machines back here driving around. We have the snow dog out here today. But what I've seen here in the last week or so is quite interesting. A week ago today, it was blowing 30 miles an hour, not a lick of water on top of the ice. It was the tail end of that cold front. We gained 7-8 inches of ice in a week here in the Twin Cities, and things were great. Looking up, looking promising. And then fast forward to this last week, lots of 30s, a lot of mist. We haven't lost much ice, but it is getting interesting and the ice is getting soft. Like I said, it does feel like March out here in the metro. So one thing we have to be cautious of always is to pay attention to your surroundings, do your due diligence, check your ice conditions. Don't just listen to what somebody else is telling you. I know I said that to you a couple weeks ago when we first got ice. Well, now here we are doing it again. So do your due diligence, check the ice conditions for yourself. Don't just listen to what somebody else says. So with that, we are finding 10 to 12 inches of ice here in the North Metro. I was fishing near Lake Minnetonka. We found about the same 10, 11 inches of ice. Now, this was this past week. If you're watching this a few days from now, I think things are going to continue to change quite a bit over the coming week and the coming days even here in the Twin Cities. But we are seeing, I'd say anywhere from 8 to 12 inches is probably your safe bet from the lakes I'm fishing. I am finding 10 and 11 on average, but I am finding some spots with 8 inches of ice. So there's my ice rant. There's what's going on. How are we catching our fish? Now, these fish, once again, they're not relating to just open basins like where we've caught our fish generally late January. These fish are finding the edge of basins. They're finding structure. These fish are fairly nomadic, but specific, if that makes sense, which is something I'm writing a new chapter in the book this year. So usually this time of year, I can go up the basin. I can chase them down. Right now, you can find them in the basin. They're hyper speed fish. So what I'm doing is I'm now moving up against the edges of these basins, up into 12 to 16, 17 feet of water versus 20, 25, 30 feet of water. And I'm finding a more consistent action, a consistent school of fish. They're staying put a little longer. You can actually get on top of them and catch some fish. So my suggestion is to think about where you find your fish this time of year, throw that out the window, slide adjacent to where those fish should be, and look for some type of structure because that's what's holding these fish. And how are we catching them? The old trusty Pinhead Pro is getting a lot of fish. You can see the red on that hook is actually pretty much worn off. That's a 32nd ounce golden green. The 32nd ounce has worked well because we're also targeting bluegills, but the crappies obviously choke this. I continue to use that 34-inch Katana noodle rod inline. I love that Spooler Elite. Obviously, you can see that new bronze color. I think it looks great. I use a 3-pound gold mono to use these fish. And then my other setup, if I have to slow down a hair, is a tungsten jig. I'm using a size 10 or 12 drop kick. I'm putting a Mackie plastic on the end of that. Similar setup, but I did go to the straight drop. I can fit that in my hand a little better. So that's been my 1-2 punch, more targeting crappies. Brody's right over here using a spring bobber rod with a size 12 tungsten. He's caught a bunch of fish on that. In fact, he also caught like a 10-pound pike. That was pretty cool. Brody just caught a 10-pound pike. You'll probably see pictures of this on social media. So between these two setups, a Tikka flash and then smaller tungsten, that's kind of how I've been targeting our panfish. And it's worked exceptionally well. But the biggest thing right now, in my opinion, is to relocate how you're targeting these fish. Get out of the basin, get towards the edges. We're looking at about 7-8 feet of water, a half a football throw away, and we're fishing in 14 to 16, and that seems to be where that migration route is right now. So it's an interesting year, no doubt about it. I do not know what to tell you this coming week. I do not know what to expect. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to be out a little bit. I don't know what this weather's going to do. Let's hope that no rain hits us when we see 40s. And at night we can get back down below freezing and just keep things consistent so that behind this little spell of warm weather, maybe some cold weather swings in and we get back on track with more ice fishing. So that's what I got. That's what we're seeing this last week. It's been a whole lot of fun. We've caught some really big fish. I had a client get a 15.5-inch crappie. Adam, if you're watching, wonderful fish, phenomenal fish in the Twin City area. Otherwise, we've had a whole lot of fun catching bluegills and crappies. That's been the name of the game. Some pike on tip-ups. It's a great time to get out, chase some fish, have some fun with the family. Be safe out there, and we'll catch you next time.